Testicle.
Testicle.
Welcome to the Tangent Lounge. I'm Gary.
I'm Dory. Just Dory.
A little peek behind the curtains there for you on how we do our
Sound
audio
checks.
test. So, things have been wet.
Excuse me?
Wet and wild.
Okay, first of all, let's take that back.
Okay,
Let's roll that back.
Okay.
Things have been rainy.
Rain. Okay, well.
There you go. That's
hence, yes. Nature has been overwatering my lawn. I'll tell you that much.
And the highway.
And the highway.
And
So
the
it
golf
turns
course.
out, yes.
And a duck.
Things have been flooded here a little bit in the central Willamette Valley area.
The guy in the boat?
Yeah.
Did you see the guy in the boat?
Oddly enough, I was working at the fire station the other day, and the fireman sitting around the table behind me as I was doing my thing, one of them said he knew the guy whose kid it was who did that or something, and I guess there was all kinds of complaints. So anyway, for the listener, the Highway 34, which is one of the main arteries into Corvallis, has been...
And it gets me from my house to Gary's to record.
Or
just a theater or whatever
you got going on, has been underwater for longer than they said it was going to be. And this little section of road has been enough to fuck everything up. And it has you have to go the long way around for everything, and
it's like 2 hours
and lots of traffic and sitting there, and been a pain in the ass.
I had to pee.
Gotta say, oh yeah, me too.
I didn't
and
know
I was running out of gas.
Me too. I didn't know this was happening.
Right.
See? Because I'm like, I'm in Lebanon and it's fine. You know, I mean, it's rainy, whatever. But there was none of this madness of the Willamette, whooshing over the highway, right?
So in this happening, a hero, I must say, got his jet boat out and was running around at decent speeds
On the highway. It was awesome.
Yes.
One of the news stations, newscopters, got a whole, filmed it.
Yeah, and it wound up on national news. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know that guy. He's a kid?
I guess so.
It's even better.
Yeah.
That's, and driving here today, I drove by where he was boating.
You probably drove right over.
I did. Right by those signs. I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Exactly.
But I had to wait in line on 34 because they stopped everybody right around Freebird Auto. I couldn't go any further or farther, right? And I had to piss, and I had rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
And I texted Lee because Lee was like a mile behind me, and she couldn't move. And I go, I got to pee.
Yeah.
If I don't pee now, it's going to go all over the place.
You're out.
So I dashed madly back to the AM/PM because there was no traffic on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And no cops. So I was like, 70 miles an hour. Did the wee, got some gas, turned around, went back, got stopped at the same spot. And she texted me. She said, nope, they're not letting anybody through now. It's completely closed. Because at first they were letting maybe a few cars at a time.
Yep.
Completely closed.
A friend who used to be a neighbor here posted a video on Facebook of like, as she's driving through it, it was basically washing her sideways, and she was terrified.
Why the fuck did she drive through it?
Well, because people were. It was just, and then
people are stupid.
Her
I'm
point
sorry.
was like, why haven't they closed this yet? Because they're letting people through, and
no, it's okay. Because I lived in Arizona for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Flash floods are a thing, and they're huge, and they're quick, and they will
kill you.
Fuck you up. And it's just the thing. It's the unwritten law. There's two things in Arizona. One, be prejudiced. Two, don't ever go through even a small trickle of water because it could turn into a flash flood in a minute, or, wait for it, a flash. So we learned we don't do that, and then people around here aren't used to that.
And shop at Unpainted Arizona.
What?
Nathan Arizona?
What?
With an Arizona Quince? You never seen Raising Arizona?
Oh, like a million years ago.
Come on now.
I don't remember
need a refresh.
anything about that movie.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But so people around here are stupid. They don't understand. Of course, there's a few dumb ones in Arizona do it too.
Well, it amazes me that, and I know I had the same situation when we lived in Seattle. It fucking rains all the goddamn time, and then it doesn't for a little bit, and it does again, and people are like, what's all this shit coming out of the sky? What do we do? So anyway, but for me, what this boiled down to, it brought out my prepper. It was,
oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, this is a reminder to everyone. If
public service announcement.
Anything goes down, I mean, this was a 0 or a next to 0. This was a 0.5 because I was at the time you were trying to get to rehearsal. I had just gone. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to go 5 miles, and I never even saw the flooded section of road.
I didn't either.
I happened to be on a feeder section that was trying to get to it, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta turn back there," and been okay. Stuck jam traffic, and this is zero as far as activity goes. We have that big fucking earthquake we're talking about, or any other thing that is civil unrest of any kind.
I know.
Shit's coming down. And you know what? So I came home that day. I carry a backpack full of all kinds of shit for just this occasion.
Emily Post table manners. That's
all
in there.
that. It is. You can't go without it. So I put a post on Facebook because I think this is something that people ought to be aware of. A lot of people don't. Most 90% of people, I would guess, don't carry so much as a fucking flashlight in their car.
I do. And I used to be way more prepped in San Diego, though, because we do have earthquakes.
Exactly.
Regularly.
I was more prepped when we lived in Seattle because it was around 9/11. Or excuse me, not 9/11. It was around Y2K.
Oh,
which turned out to be a zero, but it was good to be, it was kind of a good mental exercise as to what can happen. And for years, I was like Joe Bob Prepper, as much as I could be. As it turns out, it was like, I have a bag of flour. I'll be okay. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you going to do, paper mache?
Right. But the idea was there. I was of the mind that I was a prepper, and I was getting ready for something, which I think the mental is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then I shut it off. It was like, Y2K's passed, we're good. And I couldn't really get myself back into that frame of mind. And I started hearing about this Cascadia earthquake that was supposed to wipe us off the face of the earth here. And I'm like,
well, no, it'll wipe you guys off. We'll be fine in Lebanon because we're on the other side of 5.
Right, yeah.
It'll
just
stop
to my house right at 5. It'll be fine. It's like a complete clear border. And I really had a hard time even considering it or thinking about it. But eventually I kind of warmed back up and have built this pack. This is just for out.
It's a go bag. Use. It's a bug out bag.
At any rate, I put it on Facebook and I got a lot of response as far as like, hey, nice, like.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be too sanctimonious or like, hey, I'm smarter than you. I'm doing this thing.
It wasn't.
But
it wasn't at all.
I want people to think. The only person that gave it any like, hey, maybe I'll do that too, was you.
Yeah.
Because everybody else like, okay, cool, thanks.
Well, because they haven't ever experienced an earthquake.
Right.
They haven't experienced, or I mean,
you just have to have a little imagination.
Well,
picture what it'll be like.
Grew up, okay, we weren't like, uber preppers, but we had a larder in the garage room, and there was a lot of canned food there, and if stuff was on sale, Dad would buy it, put it in the larder,
Makes
boom.
Sense. Yeah.
And it was just stuff that was there. We always had tons of batteries, tons of flashlights, and actually we used oil lamps as well, because the power would go out.
Right.
Occasionally in Chula Vista, we'd have a wind would get bad and the power would go down. And
we're so comfortable here. We haven't lost power. We've lived in this house 15 years. We've probably lost power twice.
I have lost power where I live. Countless times. I have a flashlight around every doorknob in my house.
Good. We live right down the street from a substation, so that might make a difference. But we very rarely lose power. There are so many things that we're just like, blah, 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 blah. Cell phones will always work. Everything's always going to be fine.
No. In fact, I need to get a landline installed because during something like that, the cell phones are the first things to go.
Yeah.
The landline will stay. I learned that in Arizona.
Yeah.
Because when we'd have the massive, massive thunderstorms, everything would just be shut down except for the landline.
Yeah.
It would still work.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about getting like the cheapest. I have a phone. I'll just get the cheapest landline.
Yeah, we have a landline, but it runs through the Comcast. So power goes out, internet goes out, it's gone.
So I'm going to get a separate one from like Frontier or wherever you guys have here. I don't know what you guys have for phone. Other than Comcast.
There's CenturyLink. But
I want like a real landline, not one connected to cable or anything, whatever.
But the thing is a lot of this shit can go down, and just prepare yourselves in some small way. If you have to spend the night in your car. So there was actually a guy who, here in the recent snows, grabbed his dog, jumped in his 4Runner, said, I got a 4-wheel drive, and drove out into the snow and got to spend 4 nights living on Taco Bell salsa packets.
I heard about that.
Right.
And, of course, melted water.
Yeah.
Melted snow.
Melted snow.
Yeah.
Lucky you didn't eat his dog, because sometimes people have done that.
Oh, my God.
Had he had my bag,
he'd have been fine.
He'd have been
fed.
Had
he had sense,
he'd have been comfortable.
He wouldn't have done it.
He'd have had a satellite communicator, because I've got...
Tell me about this. Okay, is it like a big old fucking sat phone? Those things are like $1,000.
No. This is a very cool thing. And this... so back up slightly, almost a tangent, not really. There's an organization in town and all over the place called CERT, C-E-R-T, Community Emergency Response Team.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So citizens can take these classes and learn how to not freak out in an event.
Right.
So I went to one of the classes thinking...
I want to do that.
I did too. I wanted to. Until I got there and realized, this is a bunch of scared old people that don't have anything together. And when I asked when they were talking about places to assemble after an emergency, churches, schools, and things like that. And I said, oh, do they already have like emergency supplies in place? No. Really? So while we have roads, while we have power, while we have resources, we're not going to do this ahead of time before thousands of people show up to try and...
Yeah.
No, they don't. So it sounds like a big, huge clusterfuck. But the only thing that I got out of it was something that I had never heard of. One of the gals mentioned a GPS that you can also send text messages via satellite. So when the cell system is completely down, which it will be, either the cell towers will fall over or they will be without power, and they have
bounce it off satellite.
They have 3 days worth of gas on a generator, and then in the event that they're in that situation, the government emergency response system, firemen, police, and all that will seize the phone anyway. So your phone's not going to work regardless. But this is a way that we could message a loved one, say I'm here, or I'm okay, or I'm on my way home, whatever it is.
Where did you get this? Amazon's?
Yes, you can get it through Amazon. I ordered it directly from the company.
I'm going to ask you, is it pricey?
$250. Ooh. And then there's a fee for a plan, so it is not cheap. That is the problem.
Yeah,
and then in our case,
that's a big one, because what are the odds that, if it's a big worldwide thing, there's going to be 5 of us who have sat phones. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the thing is, we had to get one apiece because we can't, with one, you could talk to another cell phone, but if that cell phone doesn't work, you're fucked. So I got one for each of us. It has rudimentary navigation also. So you go on the website, you set the thing up, then it tells you home is this way and it's this far. That's really all I need.
Right.
And then I can send messages between me and Mrs. E or to any other cell phone or email address. So when the shit completely goes down, you have that ability. And it has a 10-day battery life.
Here's something that people overlook. Walkie-fucking-talkies.
They don't go very far.
Yeah, but you know what, though? If you're traveling with somebody, it's better than not. If you can't afford that phone, which most people cannot.
Right.
I would rather at least have that and have somebody else I know, either in my neighborhood or in my circle of friends or something, where we can go, okay, we're going to meet up here. At least I'm going to find you via... Because you can get some pretty strong walkie-talkies these days.
Yeah, they're generally kind of line of sight. If in like ultimate conditions, if you were on top of a mountain and you were looking at somebody else 10 miles away on top of a mountain, it might work. But they get behind a tree or they go down in the valley or whatever. So that we looked at that. I looked at shortwave radio stuff, but then you have to get a license and then you have to buy the equipment and the whole thing. This fits right in my bag. It's about the size of a BlackBerry, and I haven't had a chance to fully test them yet. We're going to Canada pretty soon. I want to get out in rural Canada in the middle of nowhere where there is no cell service and try the thing out. So at any rate, it's kind of overkill for most people's uses, but Mrs. E works in Lebanon, which is a 25-mile one-way drive, and I'm God knows the fuck where every day, and there are dozens of bridges between here and there that could fall down. Yeah. So this seemed like a really nice
Well, the folks in Oregon, like I said, living in California, I had I had one in my car, a go bag, and I had a go bag in my house, and hard-soled shoes by the bed. Yep. Because of broken glass during an earthquake.
Good.
Because I lived there for my 33 years.
Right.
And I got as my own adult on my own, because Dad had everything else in charge when I was a kid. But when I was on my own, I'd have those things. And Arizona, I kept things in the trunk. Blankets, a lot of water. Yep. A lot of water because desert. First aid kit, stuff like that because of flash flooding and just...
Psychopaths.
The weather can just bing.
Sure.
But here, we don't have massive disasters here, knock on wood. And Oregon's not a disaster state.
That's what's got us all lulled into a state of don't worry about it, because we never have to deal with any of that stuff. That's part of what's so nice about living here is we don't have so much of the shit that goes on. We don't get tornadoes. We don't get hurricanes.
But I tell you what, though, every time there's a storm coming, like a big storm coming, because they usually sort of kind of can predict it.
Get your trick knee.
It's my trick vagina.
Oh, that's a trick.
I always make sure that the batteries are changed in the flashlights, that the water's in the trunk, that I go out and I buy food that doesn't have to be cooked.
Right.
Just in case. And if I don't use it, I just put it away.
Yeah.
But I do need to make a go bag, and there's nothing.
I've got some stuff for you. We'll get you a starter kit, and then I'll send you I've made a list of everything in my bag. So
awesome.
Give you kind of
because like I said, I used to have one. It also depends on your environment too, because in Arizona it was primarily hot, so it was always water-based stuff and hydration and all that.
Yeah.
Whereas here,
you need to worry about cold and wet.
Yeah. Yeah, but I have at least some stuff. My big concern though, and you have this too, the apnea mask.
Sure.
I want to get some kind of independent battery that's going to run on a solar situation, because if the power goes down, that's it.
Now you are in yours is more severe than mine. So
Absolutely,
you're in a position if you try to sleep a night without it.
Oh, I won't sleep.
Oh, okay.
I'll wake up every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it just blocks the throat blocks. So I will eventually have cardiac arrest.
That's
probably about 2 months, 3 months down the line.
Okay.
Because if you're constantly, plus you're having stress of whatever disaster it is, yada yada.
Oh yeah.
So I want to be able to try and do some research and find like a solar battery. It's probably going to cost me a fucking arm and a leg, but that's do or die.
Well, you can.
I would rather have that than the sat phone, to be honest.
It runs off 12 volts, so you could and a guy I work with has the same thing. He and his wife both have them, and they use car batteries when they go camping. So
what do you, just a regular car battery, and how do you hook it to the machine, though, is my question.
Alligator clips, and I could help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that way I could have that on standby in the shed.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. This is not exciting for the
it's
audience.
not. Anyway.
This is horribly dull.
Right. We were talking
Isn't
about
it?
fun
Vaginas?
stuff. No, the flooding. So anyway, be prepared, folks.
Do you want to
So
maybe go to the next one?
I guess we could do that.
So,
But,
yeah.
This
is more of a public service announcement show.
Right. This has been in voluntary cooperation with FCC and other authorities. I used to know that whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But we should. Mrs. E has been asking that we break a little bit earlier than just the very end of the show for our.
Oh, our majigger in the middle.
Yeah. So here's that.
You are listening to The Tangent Lounge featuring Electric Gary and Dory Just Dory. You can find us on Podbean, Podcast Addict, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, thetangentlounge.com, and thetangentlounge@gmail.com.
And we're not going to just sign off right now because we're gonna have the. So here's another thing. We got rid of our chickens.
Clarify.
We were chicken parents for 9 years.
But clarify the get rid of.
We moved them on to my sister's house.
Thank you.
She has a very nice chicken coop.
Because when you first told me that, I was like, no.
I went out and curb stomped every one of them. No.
American History X of you.
Exactly, wasn't it? It's weirder with a beak, but we.
Isn't it always though? It's always weirder with a beak.
It's a little weird. You kind of get used to it. So
we went from disaster preparedness to curb stomping chickens.
Well, who doesn't?
Oh.
So we had been talking fairly recently about moving on with not having the chickens anymore because they were not pulling their weight and having to buy eggs when you have chickens at home is a motherfucker.
Why were they not laying?
Just weather and darkness and wintertime. But then they just didn't seem to really have the massive output that we were used to with our earlier ones. And that we're getting close to our addition, and so we're going to be painting the whole exterior of the house, and painting around a chicken coop, especially the way we built ours, is kind of a lean-to right up against the house, and they're messy.
What'd you do with the structure?
Just
disassemble it?
Yeah, I spent today actually disassembling it, and we're going to give the hen house portion to a friend. But
good. Otherwise,
it's all just 2x4s.
God, if I'd have known that, I would have paid you for it.
You could have been a chicken mom.
Well, because my landlady has been a-talking about getting the chickens.
About a clucking?
About getting the chickens.
Oh, that'd
so
be
if
good.
I'd have known, shit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Next time.
Yeah, next time.
But it's been really kind of nice. Well, and the big impetus was that we're looking at Louise, who's snuggling with her.
Sacked out.
And she's got her stuffed lion. It's very cute. We have rats.
Fuck off.
Big fucking rats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like how big?
Like
Nutria big?
Not quite that big.
Okay.
ROUS. I have a camera in the coop, so I would bring it up, and there'd be Rat Party USA going on out there.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is there a camera in my vagina right now? There is a camera in every fucking room, like cupboard
And I'm about to swallow one.
outlet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll get that in the next episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
stay tuned.
Yeah, but anyway, the rats.
Yeah, the rats. So
Rat
as
Party
a
USA.
as
No
a
wonder the chickens didn't lay. They were scared.
right, they clenched up.
No, for real.
Probably.
Yeah,
It was a little terrifying.
yeah.
And I did everything I could. I came up with this kick-ass rat trap situation with a 5-inch PVC conduit with a rat trap in each end. So when because they like to go through pipes and shit.
Yeah.
And then I put all kinds of kick-ass bait on them. And there I think I got 2, but there was so many more. And you could go in each end, and there was so good. They just didn't care. They knew better.
They took their little rat fingers and gave you the middle finger.
They
to the
did,
camera.
right at the camera.
Fuck you, man.
Mm-hmm. Just like
See, I
Rizzo.
know I like rats, but domestic ones. I don't fancy the wild ones because they will bite you.
Yeah.
But the domestic rat, I used to raise them.
Yeah,
quite
they're
sweet
kinda
and
cute in a way.
Intelligent, yeah, but they're dicks in nature.
Yeah.
They can be. I mean, not all the time. They're gonna run after you, but I mean,
Carry a switchblade. We were not into it, so we just let them. We'll let them move on to wherever they're gonna go. And
they're still out there right now.
as far as I know,
Come on.
now we just to add to the effect, we put in a little wood pile for our little like backyard fire thing.
They're gonna make the nest in there.
Right, of course. That's what they do. So anyway, that's rats and chicken. Listen to us. Anyway, so that's Tangent Lounge. And Gary.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
You've been yeah.
lounge.